As Donald Trump heads into 2024, the clear GOP frontrunner, some Republicans and Democrats are sounding the alarm about just how dangerous they think a second term could be.
You can see him trying to create the embryo of a fascistic, authoritarian, criminal party once he gets back into office. And Liz Cheney's got it absolutely right. If he gets back in, does any person think that really he would ever leave office again? If you believe that, you're just too innocent to be let out of the house by yourself.
Jonathan Karl is back with me to discuss his fantastic new book, Tired of Winning, Donald Trump and the End of the Grand Old Party, which I happen to have right here, which I read cover to cover, as they say. I want to, just on this note, talk about one of the many scoops that you have in this book. And the chapter is called Fix It Now. And it's about this notion, not just of him staying if he wins again, but historically, back in 2021, whether or not he thought he could actually be reinstated even after he lost, because he refused to admit that he lost. And you notice that he put out one of his statements ranting against Saturday Night Live, and in it he said 2024 or before. And this is from your book. You said, I began the conversation, because you talked to him, July of 2021, with no intention of asking Trump about the reinstatement fantasies I had seen circulating among some of his most extreme supporters. But as he droned on about the very strong information I'd soon see coming, he sounded like someone who genuinely believed his 2020 defeat could be overturned. So I asked what he meant when he wrote in his statement 2024 or before. We have some audio of that conversation you had.
By the way, when you had a release recently, you said 2024 or before. What do you mean by that? You don't really think there's a way you would get reinstated before the next election, do you?
I'm not going to explain it to you, Jonathan, because you wouldn't either understand it or write it.
You wrote it, but you might not understand it.
I mean, this is a truly lunatic idea that was floating out there, that somehow Biden could be ejected from the White House long after he was sworn in, long after his administration had taken hold. And what you hear there, and you can hear the way he's saying it, I mean, he believed that somehow the truth was going to come out about the Chinese manipulating our voting machines and the election being stolen, and that he was going to be reinstated as president. And over the course of that chapter, which truly some of the most surprising things that I have learned about Trump, what was going on behind the scenes throughout the year of 2021 and even into last year, Dana, he was pressuring people to pursue this idea that Biden could be upended, thrown out of the White House. He could be put back into the White House. They could rerun the election, and he would be president. And look, it's one thing to hear this in QAnon websites. It's another thing to hear the former president of the United States talking about this.
It sure is. Now, I should say that this is Old Home Week Day, whatever you want to call it, because I used to be your producer. You were at CNN, and we ran around Capitol Hill together. I learned so much from you, and I enjoyed working with you. There you go.
Back in the day, look at that.
Yeah, the guy in the middle was this U.S. Senator people may have heard of. Last name is Kennedy. Yeah, that was back in the day. And one of the many stories that you and I covered together on Capitol Hill was 9/11. We were at the Capitol together on 9/11. And it's etched in my mind, obviously in yours, because you write about it in this book, us coming back to the Capitol the evening as dusk was falling, and watching the leadership get together and in an impromptu song, God Bless America. Now, John, you note in your book that you can see then freshman Congressman Mike Pence.
There with the white hair.
There with the white hair, singing. And at the end of the book, you talk about that moment versus fast forward to January 6th and what a different world it was. And I think about that so much, just as you do. That was a response to foreign terrorism and January 6th was domestic terrorism.
And you know, at that moment, we really felt America was under attack. The Capitol had been entirely evacuated. The plane that ultimately went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, widely believed that it was coming to the dome of the Capitol. You and I were there. We both, by the way, I mean, I'd never had a greater experience working with a reporting partner than you. We really, I think both of us had a reverence for the Capitol, for American democracy, for the privilege of being a reporter that got the opportunity to go to work every day in that building. And when we saw it come under attack and we saw Democrats and Republicans come together, that was that was late in the evening on September 11th when they came back to a closed building and made a couple of speeches and then spontaneously sang that song. So as I watched the Capitol come under attack again, this time by domestic, as you said, terrorists, I mean, I took it personally.
Yeah, me too.
This was a place that means so much more than simply the place where Congress meets. This is the symbol of everything that American democracy is.
All of America should have taken that personally. So good to see you.
Great to
Thank
be
you
here
so
with you
much
again.
for coming on. This is the book, Tired of Winning. Go get it. It's really good.